Hello and welcome back to my channel, Checks Captures Threats. In today's episode, episode 30 of the chess guide, we'll be going over double check. So, today we have 4 examples on what a double check is and how we can use it. So, we went over discovered check in the last episode, episode 29. Today we'll be kind of following on from that and how you could give a double check to see what that can do. So, first example, here we've got a rook and a knight, just to show how it will work. Then we have in the second one a knight and a queen and how we can use that for stuff like a skewer. The third example we can also show in another way here is for the skewer. And last but not least, there is a way you can also use it to get checkmate. So, in this first example here, it is obviously just to show you what a double check is. So, double check is where you move, it's like a discovered check, you move a piece out the way and it'll give a check, as we see here. But you can move this knight to one of these 2 squares. Now what this is called is double check because you're not checking it just this once, you're actually checking it twice. Now, this is good because one of the main reasons here is you can never block a double check with a piece. So even if black had a queen, any piece, they would not be able to block the knight and the rook here. Neither if it was a queen and knight, or a bishop and a rook given discover check. No piece can block those. So here, just show again, you move the knight out the way to give a double check, forcing the king to move one of 2 places here in this scenario. So, in the second example, here, we can give a double check here to give a skewer. Now again, you could give another check here, but here just to show you, another double check here. The king may move out the way, and you'll be able to win the queen. It's as simple as that. You know, you can play, don't get me wrong, if you want to play this, it's fine. You know, I'm just trying to show how a double check can, force that king to move. You know, it's used in, you don't see it too often, like discovered check. You could try and make a plan for it. It's also another sneaky way of trying to get across, like we said with a plan. We can get that across in the middle game. You'll very rarely see it happen in the opening. So there's that. Now, so just remembering, we can move a knight to give a check, and if it moves out the way, we're able to capture the queen. Now, the third example here, we're just showing you how we can be able to win the queen nice and easy and give checkmate in the long run. So, here, we could play numerous amounts of discovered checks here if you wanted to find them. So we have this rook to here, we have rook to d7, but we can also show you how if the rook goes to give a check here, again, as we see here, 2 checks again there. You know, the king can't now go anywhere across here, so it'd have to go up. Now, we could just capture the queens, trade off, happy days, we're now a rook up, we're obviously going to win this. But we can make this 10 times easier by playing another check, because what double checks can do is add on to the next move. So you're not just thinking, oh, I've got a double check, let's just play it, and that's it. What you want to do is you want to play it and then use it to your advantage to win material, to give another check, maybe to win a pawn, even anything. So in this scenario, obviously you would play the skewer, bringing the rook back down, and wherever the king will go, we can capture their queen. So again, just to show you how what this shows, again, we could obviously play any other move here, but I feel like this just shows how we can nice and easily play a check like this, and we can add on to it. These examples are, there's many other ways you can do it, don't get me wrong, hopefully you can find those, but we're just trying to get the point across that if you do use a double check, in scenarios that we can't play those moves, this is a good option. Now the last example here is actually a checkmate, so it's a mating 2, so I'm going to give you a few seconds to try and see if you can find it. So, okay, hopefully you can see that firstly what we've got here is the queen and bishop is going to be the things given the discovered check. Now, obviously, there's only one place you can go for double check, and that is to bishop f6. Now, as we can see, normally, we understand this now, and as I've said before, you could not block double check with a piece, so this knight can't block because it is check here, this bishop can't block there because it's check here. So obviously the only move it has, it can't move to either of these squares, so it has to go to king to c8, then we can bring our queen up to d8, giving checkmate. So again, what this shows is how we can create a plan. So as white here, we've planned to get our queen and bishop in front of their king, and then hopefully we was able to, in this game, give the bishop check. That would make this king move out the way, obviously with the queen attacking as well. Move the king out of the way, and we're able to add on to the double check and give checkmate. So we're just going to go over this one more time, each example, hopefully you understand, and then that shall be it. So remembering, double check, you give 2 checks, therefore the word double, and it will always move the king here. So the king would move, and now we'd be able to obviously add on to that. So in this example here, what we found was that when we give maybe a double check here, it would obviously move the king, and wherever it moved the king, we was able to get a skewer, whether it's going to capture our knight or not. So nice and easy there. Then in this position, we was able to see that just giving a double check in this position would move the king down, and then instead of trading off like we probably would very quickly, seeing that the queens could take each other, we'd give another check just to give a skewer onto the queen, so that if it moved, we are able to take it with either piece. And last but not least, we was able to find that double checks can even eventually lead to a checkmate, whether we can plan and get the tactics right. So giving a bishop to f6 here, forcing the king to move, and then after that we're able to play queen to d8, checkmate. So that is it for today's video. Hopefully you understand what a double check is, and hopefully now you definitely understand what a discovered check is. So that is it for those two. Hopefully you're also enjoying the other playlists we've been doing. That's all been good. I see we've now passed 50 subscribers as well, so thank you for all of that. And now that is the end of the video, so thank you and bye bye.